Hi, my name's Harry and I'm a disabled musician currently studying at Trinity Laban Conservatoire in Greenwich. In this video I'll be introducing you and showing you the pros and cons of my bronze accessible room at McMillan Student Village. I hope you find it useful. Please forgive the shaky video because all of this is taken on my phone, so at least you'll get an idea of what it's like to live at McMillan. Okay, so we've literally just come out the lift, and on the left of the lift you will see the McMillan Student Village reception, which is very convenient because you don't have far to travel to get into your flat. Let's spin 180 degrees, and here is our door right by the lift. You come in to a little porch area, enough space to store a couple of things. Right opposite the door you'll see that we have a single bed. Now on the Campus Living website it's advertised as a 3/4 size bed, which is equivalent to a small double, but this is a single. The good perk about all the beds at McMillan is they have a lift up storage compartment underneath, so you can see the ledge just under my duvet. That all lifts up for storage. The only downfall to the storage is that it smells a bit damp where it hasn't been aired out properly. There you can see we've got a window. The curtains, unfortunately, on this window don't open properly because the hooks don't run. And if you're a wheelchair user, they're a bit tricky to close and open because you either have to get on the bed or reach across. Now, to the diagonal right of the door, you'll see the kitchen area. Now, an important note about the kitchen area, if you're a wheelchair user, is not all of the storage is accessible. Now, when I arrived, my microwave was one shelf higher than it currently is, and so I couldn't reach it. So I asked McMillan very nicely if they would change it and put in a lower shelf, which they happily did for me. So all I've done is I've bought a couple of storage cabinets there and there, just to put my food in because I can't reach these cupboards at all. So that's why you'll see above the microwave I've got a couple of things that I use very rarely and I'm not going to need it so often. Got a table here which you can get your wheelchair under, which is good, and there's also a chair there if you have company. The cooker and the sink is at a lower level, ideal for wheelchair user, but if you are ambulant it's maybe a little bit low, so just be advised that if you're ambulant and not in a wheelchair you'll be hurting your back when using the sink because it's not adjustable. It is a fixed height counter works. Note about the fridge is when I arrived, I've had the door direction changed, so the fridge now opens that way, but when I when I arrived it opened the other way, so that basically stopped me from accessing the fridge because I couldn't fit my chair in this tiny gap here. But yes, the fridge is good. There's enough space to store all your essentials. I've got quite a lot in there, and then on the top there's a freezer, which again has fitted quite a lot inside. I'm just gonna turn you to the right hand side of the sink area. They've moved the fire blanket down for me. I've put a command hook on the wall. Strictly speaking, McMillan say that you're not supposed to use command strips, but my argument is there should be more storage that's accessible. So don't be afraid to just put them up, and you can always mention to the team here and explain, and they're more than understanding. There's also a little hanging space here, out of focus. There's also a hanging space here, which was higher than this picture, and they moved down for me. So the team here are very accommodating. They'd be more than happy to help. So any questions that you have, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, as you turn left when you come into the room, you'll see a nice 2-meter desk with lots of space. A tiny little drawer there, you can fit a few bits in. Enough space to store some things underneath the desk. However, the above desk storage could be a bit challenging for someone who has very limited mobility. I'm lucky enough that I can just about reach that by standing, but nevertheless it is still rather challenging to navigate and put things up there. So in an ideal world, that storage should be lower, and so should the kitchen, but unfortunately at this stage there's not a lot I can do. You lucky things, you're now getting to see my wardrobe, 5 shelves and a little bit of hanging space, just enough for a couple of shirts or dresses. For me it's shirts because I don't like wearing dresses. These hooks here were previously installed. They're slightly too high for me, as is the top shelf in the wardrobe, hence why I've put stuff that I'm rarely going to need up there. Into the bathroom now, which is actually, for me, one of the best parts, mainly because the sink is a low height with a adjacent shelf, which is good. The toilet is fairly low. For me it's alright, but for a taller person it might feel a little bit low to sit on. It's got an assistance cord there, as you can see, which is currently tied to a handrail, and there is a lowering rail there to assist you the other side. The shower is a reasonable size. Well, I say reasonable. If you have a shower chair like I do, it's a little bit tight. Once you get the curtain comes round, it's a little bit tight. Let me just back up a little bit so you can see. That's probably a little bit better. The only slight downfall is this. There's a slight slope into the bathroom, which for me isn't easy to navigate, especially after I've had a couple of pints. But we won't go any further than that. On the whole, this room is okay, but as you can see, it has its limitations for a wheelchair user like me. I can't access the kitchen storage, I can't access the desk storage fully. They've lowered lots of things for me, they've changed the fridge doors. They're very helpful here at McMillan, but this is the purpose of doing this video, is just so if you're booking an accessible room as a wheelchair user, just be advised that you may not be able to reach everything. But for me, I'm lucky enough that I can adapt to it. But I would advise, if you're looking at McMillan, just get in contact with your mobility requirements and make sure that they can accommodate fully. I hope this has helped.